College football fans, welcome back to the Big Ten Quick Talk podcast. If you haven't already, please subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so that you're alerted when all my videos drop, and they will be dropping all throughout this offseason. You better believe it. All right, we're going to get right into this Rose Bowl matchup between the University of Michigan, the number one seed, 13-0, won the Big Ten, and the Alabama Crimson Tide, who went 12-1. Their only loss was to Texas, who's also in the playoff, and they beat Georgia, who had won 29 straight games before that loss. We're going to break it down. We're going to go through the keys to winning for both sides and my pick for who's going to win. Let's get right into it. Starting off with why Michigan wins this game, and it will be because of that Wolverine defense. Top 5 in overall PFF grade with a 95.3 overall grade. That is an amazing grade. And there is no weak point on this defense. They have a very talented secondary. Their front seven hits the hardest in college football. I don't know if you've heard it yet or not. The SEC might have something to say about that. But just from the eye test alone, and the fact that they don't miss tackles, they miss precious little tackles. One or two, if even, most games. And, coupled with that fact, they are just an outstanding defense. And we're going to give you some numbers here. The average points this defense allows is 9.46. So they're giving up 9.5 points per game. They're giving up a touchdown and a little less than a field goal. Let's round up. They're giving up a touchdown and a field goal per game. And they're playing some pretty good offenses. They're not playing the SEC's offenses, mind you, but those are freaking explosive. But they're playing, Maryland, who has Talia Tungavailoa. Off the top of my head, I think it's a top 5 passing offense. I could be wrong about that, but I know he's a top 5 passing quarterback, best in the Big Ten. They're playing Ohio State, who had a very good offense, very talented offense. I know McCord, people are going to blame McCord, but they do have a very good offense, and McCord was not the problem. They do play Penn State. They play all these teams, and I know what you're going to say about Penn State. We'll leave that as it is. And the average yards against that they're giving up is 240, which isn't the best, but when you're playing up 35 points, you're going to allow some passing yards to schools like Central Michigan or whoever they play in the FCS or out of conference, And just for reference, because I see a lot of people saying how Georgia has a better defense, and therefore they think that Bama's going to have a really good time with this Wolverine defense because they play well against the Georgia defense. But the Georgia defense gives up 16 points per game. And I know that they played some pretty good offenses out there, but their strength of schedule wasn't that great. And you have a Wolverine defense that gives up a touchdown less. So not just because of that. People say just because of that. No, not just because of that, but also because of the eye test. I think that this Michigan defense is better than the Georgia defense that Bama just played. And I think that Michigan honestly has a top 3 defense. So, And then for those that say that Michigan has a weak offense, they do almost get to 400 average yards per game. I think it's around 390, something like that. And they do average 6 yards per play that they run, which is pretty insane. It's not average yards per successful play, it's average yards per play. And versus an elite Ohio State defense, and that defense is legit, let me tell you. They had a phenomenal defense this year. They were 2 opt-outs away from holding Missouri to 7 points. They tallied 338 total yards, and versus an elite Penn State defense, they garnered 287 total yards while only throwing the ball 8 times. And by the way, in that game, J.J. McCarthy had a 95 overall passer rating, but that's beside the point. They're playing they're playing good enough on offense to score big-time points. They're not an elite offense. They're not even a great offense. They're a very good offense. And, They have a very good offense, and their defense helps them look like an elite offense at times. Now let's go to why Bama wins this game. This is why Alabama wins the game, is because Jalen Milroe plays great football. I know, surprise, that's the reason. Everyone's been saying it, but it's the truth. And this powerful duo at wide receiver of Jermaine Burton and Isaiah Bond, which, by the way, that is one of the best duos in the country at wide receiver. They are flat out amazing, especially Isaiah Bond, and I think he's staying for next year, and he's gonna be looking at a Bolitnikov next year. Believe me, especially if Milroe comes back. Good gosh almighty. All right. So yeah, if those wide receivers blow the top off of this talented Michigan secondary, they're going to have a phenomenal time in this game, because Michigan cannot win a shootout game because they're not built to win a shootout game. Bama can win a shootout game. If this game gets up to the high 30s, 40s point-wise, I think Michigan's done. No way Michigan is winning. No way that Michigan is winning a shootout. Excuse me. Bottom line. So here's my prediction for this game. Bottom line. JJ McCarthy is going to have to use his legs to win this game. JJ McCarthy, I know this wasn't my keys, but this little add-on here. JJ McCarthy is going to have to run for some first downs off script, off schedule. He does it sometimes. He really needs to do it this game in order to win. And I see him doing that. I see him being a very good quarterback in this game. I don't see him throwing any picks in this game. If he does, they're in trouble, because you cannot give Bama possessions like that. You can't give it up on your own 30 to Bama like that. And if he plays like that, which I think he will, I think Michigan wins this game. And I think they win it by a score of 31-27. I think it's going to be close. The Michigan defense is going to give up some chunk plays, but they're going to settle down, and they're going to win this game. All right, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video, post a comment down below. I know this is coming up a little late, but I'll see you guys in the next one for the analysis of this game later next week. All right, see you later.